On my birthday. Sam didn't come home. If the prelude is that we had been giving each other the silent treatment for more than a month, then there was nothing surprising about it. A little over a month ago, I would still stubbornly try to communicate with him about what exactly had gone wrong between us. But now, I had already learned not to ask about anything concerning him. Facing his explanation that something suddenly came up today and he couldn't make it back, I merely responded with a faint okay. Yet the call didn't end. I heard someone on the other end ask him, "Senior, your Cold War with her still isn't over?" Sam didn't answer. His tone was, "Didn't you say you wanted me to pretend to be your boyfriend at the class reunion? Just this once, don't make it a habit." The person chuckled, "Got it. When you go home, don't forget to coax Diana properly." So cheeky, calling me sister-in-law. I hung up the phone, went to the kitchen, and grabbed a cloth to clean the cream off the table. It was strange. After hearing their conversation, I didn't feel any emotional turbulence. I simply realized, all of a sudden, that I no longer loved Sam. Chapter 1. More than 2 months ago, I had a miscarriage. Because I was always too busy at work, my periods had been irregular for a long time. I didn't realize I was pregnant until I collapsed in the restroom after filming the show, before I even had time to grieve for the unexpected little life. As soon as the anesthesia wore off, I received a local police bulletin. 2 criminals had broken into a home with knives to commit robbery and had assaulted the victim for an entire day and night. Fortunately, a food delivery worker sensed something was wrong and called the police. One of the criminals had been caught, while the other remained at large. The police had posted a wanted notice and reminded the public to stay alert. A colleague from the editing department sent me a video, adding, "This clip has nothing to do with the main case and won't be used in tonight's program, but I feel like you'd better watch it." In the video, my fiancé Sam was shooing away a reporter who attempted to conduct an interview, loudly calling for the paramedic stretcher. In his arms was his mentor's daughter, and also his junior from the police academy, Emma. The video replayed over and over several times. There were many onlookers at the scene, even though my colleague didn't put the video into the daily news material library. Different angled clips had already appeared on short video platforms. It's the super powerful duo. I'll gladly ship this Princess Carrie first. Are they a couple? This is important to me. Yet clearly, I was the one who was his fiancé. I comforted myself, thinking that they were senior and junior partners, and that helping each other in an emergency was completely understandable. But on the other hand, seeing the scene around me, I couldn't stop myself from feeling sad. The girl in the same ward as me had also miscarried accidentally. Her boyfriend was running around non-stop, practically wanting to help her go to the restroom himself. And I, before fainting from the pain, had signed the consent forms with trembling hands. The colleagues who brought me to the hospital gradually left, and Sam's phone remained unreachable. He didn't turn off his phone often, and whenever he did, it was always work-related. So I didn't call again. It wasn't until the next day that he finally returned a call. His first sentence was, "Sorry, Diana, my phone died yesterday, so it shut off. I'm only getting back to you now." I was sitting in a wheelchair at that moment, picking up my medication alone. Hearing that, I asked, "Where are you?" In my heart, I had wanted to ask whether he could come pick me up, but I didn't expect him to say, "I'm at the hospital." "Don't worry. I'm not hurt, it's Emma." I didn't respond, because I had seen it with my own eyes. I had seen Sam talking on the phone while pushing Emma out of the elevator. Emma held his jacket in one arm, the other arm suspended in a sling. She was wearing a plain cotton t-shirt and soft cotton slippers. What happened to her? I stared at them without blinking, feeling my jaw trembling faintly. At my question, he instead became irritated, didn't follow orders, acted on her own, got nicked by the criminal. I saw him glare at Emma. His lips moved silently, saying something, and Emma stuck out her tongue, pulling a pitiful "please forgive me" gesture. Sam's tone was helpless, so I have to escort this troublemaker back to the unit to receive punishment. I'm hanging up. He hung up, and only after he pushed Emma past the turnstiles did I finally respond with a soft okay. That day, I sat in the lobby for a very, very long time, long enough for my eyes to sting. It wasn't until the pharmacy called my name for who knows the how many th time that I wiped my eyes and went to pick up my medicine. At that moment, Sam only needed to look back once to see me. I only needed to call out to him once, and he would have heard me, but he didn't turn around, and I didn't call out, either. He always told me, half helplessly, that the female officers in his unit were all tough, and that I was too delicate, that I couldn't even change a light bulb, and what would I do without him? But suddenly I realized that even without him, I had done so many things alone, following tutorial videos, climbing on a stack of stools to change a light bulb myself, repairing the washing machine myself, preparing the wedding by myself, arguing with shady vendors at the renovation market by myself. Now, it was merely getting surgery alone, getting medicine alone, going home alone. It wasn't that without him I couldn't function, it was that without him I still could. Chapter 2. The director approved half a month of maternity leave for me. After the miscarriage surgery, it was no less than sitting through a mini postpartum confinement for an entire week. I lay in bed not wanting to move. Fortunately, when my friends heard that I had miscarried, they came over on their own, carrying bags of food and drinks to disturb my peace. The 3 women didn't know about Sam's situation, they simply thought I was in a bad mood. It's been raining every day lately, and you're just moping at home alone. Be careful you don't get moldy and sprout mushrooms. Look at your eyes, swollen like walnuts. As soon as they came in, they pulled open the curtains so the balcony light could spill in. Roxana wandered across the balcony with her arms crossed. Wow, you've taken good care of these plants. Ooh, even a fish pond. Diana, I've been thinking about what to put on my office desk. Give me a few pots. Luna rubbed her hands. Hee hee. If she's getting one, then I want some too. Because of Sam's job, he stayed in the unit dormitory most of the time and only came home during leave. Living alone could be boring, so I kept many green plants on the balcony. In the rainy south, the plants grew very well. I knew they were intentionally making a noisy fuss to cheer me up. I closed my tablet and smiled. Pick whichever you like and move it yourself. I can't carry them. The chattering women quieted down. Lisa looked at me, and her eyes reddened for a moment. That jerk Sam, at a time like this. He's not at home taking care of you. Where did he run off to? How nice. Even with my indifferent personality, there were still people who truly felt sad and upset on my behalf. He's busy, I said. Sam was responsible for that case, and the second robber was still at large. The suspect had extremely strong counter-surveillance abilities, and the pressure on Sam was enormous. No, call him. Lisa handed me the phone. Hands on her hips. I don't care if he's busy. Ask him when exactly he's planning to come home and take care of you. TSK. Look at you, eating takeout every day. Careful the director doesn't tell you to lose weight when you go back. I'm being wronged. I protested. Even if it's takeout, it's from a postpartum meal service. I couldn't win against her, so I dialed Sam's number. Hey, honey, have you eaten? Not yet. It was noisy on Sam's end. He truly sounded busy. I smiled, wanting to say something more, when a crisp, playful female voice came through the speaker. No, senior, I really can't handle this. Save me, please. Sam sighed, sounding like he got up from his seat, his tone helpless. What now? Troublemaker? My face turned pale, meeting my friend's awkward gazes. I forced a smile and explained. See? I told you, he's busy. Chapter 3. Let's set aside how Roxana and the others cursed Sam so thoroughly. The day I returned to work happened to be the day Sam had his break. My interviewee was a big shot, flying to London the next day, and had only reserved 1 hour for an interview. When Sam came home, I was just about to leave. We crossed paths and I paused for a moment. Seeing me in professional attire, he frowned. Going out this late? His schedule is tight. I have to go to the airport myself. I straightened my outfit, not wanting to talk more. Picking up my bag, I added, I'm heading out first. Once upon a time, I used to count the days waiting for him to come back, even preparing a full table of dishes. But this time, I hadn't gone grocery shopping. I hadn't even noticed he was home on leave today. Sam rubbed my head, letting out a soft laugh and a sigh. The subway's about to stop running. It's unsafe at night. I'll drive you. After your interview, let's have dinner together. The airport was an hour away from home. I wasn't in the mood to fuss. Okay. The car was parked in the garage. I habitually sat in the passenger seat but immediately felt something off. I usually adjusted the seat back to recline a bit so I could rest. But the moment I sat down, I realized the angle wasn't the usual comfortable curve, and the seat was closer to the glove compartment, so much so that my posture felt awkward. You let someone else sit in the passenger seat? I adjusted the seat to my usual position and asked. Oh, Emma, Sam admitted calmly, hands on the steering wheel, eyes straight ahead. She was off today too, so I drove her home. Probably adjusted it then. Just adjust it back. Just adjust it back? A sudden wave of irritation washed over me. Emma again. Always Emma. The fear of entering the operating room alone. The envy of watching another patient's boyfriend fuss over her. The embarrassment of seeing that video. The awkward glances exchanged between my friends. And the hurt of watching him interact with Emma. All of it surged inside me. These emotions shaped themselves into a faintly mocking smile. Sam, we're already engaged. Emma has no boundaries. And you should. Whether it was carrying her and shouting for a stretcher, staying with her overnight at the hospital, or letting her sit in the passenger seat, none of this should have happened. It wasn't that I cared about how many people sat in that seat, nor did I care who he carried while working. I understood his ambition. I understood his busyness and absences. When he was on missions, I spent countless nights worrying about him. But what I couldn't ignore was his attitude. I cared about the Sam who rushed down a residential building with Emma in his arms, panicking so much he lost his composure and yelled at the media. I cared about the Sam who called her a troublemaker but still stayed with her all night at the hospital, not even having time to borrow a power bank. I cared about the Sam who, despite being overwhelmingly busy, forgot he was still on the phone with me the moment Emma acted cute. Sam, your heart has already tilted. Do you know that? Chapter 4. So what if it has? A hint of impatience flickered in Sam's eyes. Diana, it's just about the passenger seat. Do you have to make a big deal out of it and talk to me in this interrogating tone? When he didn't smile, his whole presence was sharp and intimidating. I was stunned, feeling my heartbeat speed up. Interrogating. What right did I have to interrogate him? Noticing my silence, he pressed down his temper a little and softened his voice to coax me. I didn't mean to snap at you. I've been busy all day, didn't even eat lunch or dinner, and rushed back here just for you. I didn't expect you to treat me like this. At worst, from now on, I just won't let anyone else sit in the passenger seat, okay? In 2 months it'll be your birthday. I remember. You know, I've cleared those days just for you. Wherever you want to go, I'll go with you. Let it go, all right? The car drove out of the underground garage and moved steadily along the main road. The streetlights were dim, and the wind outside the window lifted my hair. Sam, I've never doubted you. I closed the window, staring at my reflection in the glass, speaking very softly. We had walked this road together for 6 years. At first, it was 2 people, 4 feet, walking this road back to the university town every day after our internships. Then it became 2 wheels on a motorcycle. I would always use hugging him as an excuse to secretly feel his abs. He was happy to let me, calling it checking training results. Later, it became this Porsche, paid for with the joint support of both our families, parked in the underground garage, free for whichever of us wanted to drive it. We had already paid the down payment on the apartment, and I had personally overseen the finishing work. I had long since prepared myself to live with him. Our wedding date was set for May 1st of the following year. Sam simply didn't understand that some things couldn't be avoided just because he chose not to take the initiative. I suppressed the surge of emotions in my chest and decided to be honest with him, including the miscarriage. Sam, everyone in your squad knows about our engagement. There's no way your junior, Emma, doesn't know. 2 years ago on Valentine's Day, we waited in line for ages at the amusement park. And right before we got on the Ferris wheel, she called you away. On our anniversary last year, I waited for you at the cinema door until the movie ended. And afterward you explained that Emma's work had gone wrong at the last minute and you had no choice but to work overtime with her. Why is it that every time something just happens to go wrong when we're together? Are there really that many coincidences? Emma, I used to admire her. As a fellow woman, She had the courage to choose a path where she could shine in upholding justice. That was something very few people could do. But admiration for someone's profession is not enough to sustain the complexity of human nature. A woman's innate sixth sense made me notice her faint hostility toward me very early on. Sam had become a team captain at a young age. His looks fell into that category of modern, traditionally handsome Chinese men. He had been filmed on duty several times by local short video bloggers, and back then an MCN agency had even contacted the bureau, causing quite a stir. Emma's father was Sam's teacher at the police academy. With that connection, it was perfectly normal for her to look up to Sam. But admiration was one thing. Using work as an excuse to satisfy her personal desires was another. Right now, I could still chalk it up to her being young and not knowing any better. But what about after I married Sam? How many more times would I have to put up with her calling him away at the last minute? I know her father asked you to look after her. But Sam, you're my fiancé. You should make things clear to her. Ah. Sam slammed on the brakes, bringing the car to an abrupt halt at the street corner. Are you done talking? His gaze was as cold as ice as he pulled the handbrake. If you're done, get out, Diana. Sam, walk upright and stand straight. I've been working myself to the bone for nearly half a month before rushing back, not to listen to you doubting this and suspecting that. My dad and my teacher are longtime friends. I treat Emma like a little sister. Our relationship is not as filthy as you think. Tell me, have I been indulging you too much, to the point that your temper has become this spoiled? Every word landed like a knife to my heart. Spoiled. I wasn't asking for much. How did that become being spoiled? My nails dug into the soft flesh of my palm, a sharp pain blooming there. The medical record of my miscarriage was sitting right there in my bag. I wasn't completely without self-respect. Given what Sam had just said, I knew there was no point in trying to talk further. I unfastened my seatbelt decisively and got out of the car myself. Walking along the sidewalk, I caught sight of Sam's car in the corner of my vision, following behind me at an unhurried pace. Diana. When I reached the end of the street and was about to cross the road, he honked twice, urging impatiently, "Get in the car." I flagged down a taxi and got in. To the airport. Please. Behind us. The horn of the Porsche blared loudly, but I ignored it and shut the door. Sam sped off in the Porsche, so fast the car stirred up dust and fallen leaves along the road. Had a fight with your boyfriend? The driver was a middle-aged woman, who, on principle of making peace, tried to comfort me. Girl, whatever it is, just sit down and talk it out. There's no problem that can't be solved. You know? I turned my head away and wiped my face, not wanting anyone to see my sorry state. What if it really can't be solved? I really don't know what to do anymore. Then break up. The driver's voice landed with a solid, ringing finality. Chapter 5. By the time I finished the interview, it was already early dawn. Considering the time, I didn't go home. I went straight back to the TV station to prepare that day's morning news. Sam didn't call to ask where I was. Not even a single green bubble text appeared. When I finished work at noon and returned home, I found the ashtray full of cigarette butts, and the house reeking of smoke. Sam had smoked in the house the entire night. I couldn't stop myself from gagging. He clearly knew I hated secondhand smoke the most. I took off all the sofa covers and washed them, sprayed the air several times with perfume, opened the windows for ventilation, but it still felt insufficient. When Sam returned, he sneezed, and when he noticed the newly changed sofa covers, his expression darkened. From that day on, Sam and I silently entered a cold war. I no longer called him or asked if he'd eaten on time. Whenever he came home on break, I went to the station to work overtime. I no longer asked whether his missions were dangerous, nor did I stay awake entire nights worrying about him. At first, he seemed determined to fight it out to the end when we occasionally ran into each other. Neither of us spoke. The only conversation between us happened one day when I came home and tossed a lipstick into his arms. Found it in the passenger seat. Because of being on camera, I usually wore rosewood or nude tones for formal events. Sometimes I used true red. As for orange-brown shades, those had never been in my selection. I didn't care to find out who dropped that lipstick, or whether it was placed there intentionally or accidentally. I simply locked the study door, put on my headphones, and finally cleared a game I had saved for a long time. Sam slammed the door on his way out, Clearly venting his frustration, the loud bang shook the walls. In that moment, I decided to break up with him. The troublesome part was that the ownership of the house and car, both bought with help from both sets of parents, also needed to be discussed. Both of us were busy, he with his case, me with my projects, and we couldn't even find a single day off that overlapped. So we had no choice but to continue living under the same roof. Half a month later, he was the first to soften. That day when I got home, I stared at the table full of dazzling dishes and fell silent. Sam brought out a plate of sweet and sour ribs from the kitchen. Between clenched teeth, he muttered, "Try it." "No need. I just came back to grab something." I opened the closet and tossed clothes into my suitcase, then grabbed a new set of skincare products. I'm going on a business trip. The station was producing a travel reality show, and Roxana and the others signed me up without asking, claiming it would help me relax. I thought about it, an all-expenses-paid trip? Why not? I closed the suitcase, looked up at him, and said, "I didn't know you'd suddenly cook." I already ate at the station. Sam's thoughts were easy to read. All the dishes were things I normally liked. Cooking them was just his way of trying to break the ice, whether he wanted me to cry and yell at him, or throw myself into his arms and pour my heart out. But I was truly busy making money, busy with my projects, busy working toward becoming deputy director at the station. "Diana!" Just when I was about to leave, he grabbed my wrist from behind, startled. I turned back, only for him to pin both my hands against the door. All traces of his usual composure were gone. His bloodshot eyes were full of restless fear with nowhere to go. "You. I took half a day off and did all this. You should at least eat a little." I looked up at the clock, 6:45 p.m. My flight took off at 8:30. I stated the fact calmly, "I'm going to miss my plane." What he did after taking half a day off was merely the routine I had lived through each time I waited for his return. I used to count the minutes, calculating how long before he came home. Having my own old routines mirrored back at me didn't move me. If anything, it made me feel that my past self was foolish. The more I used to look forward to seeing him, the more impatient I felt now. But undeniably, seeing him completely lose his composure gave me a sense of satisfaction that swelled in my chest, almost blissful. So I kindly suggested, "If you think the food will go to waste, you can invite Emma or another colleague over. I'm sure they'll be thrilled." His fingers trembled almost imperceptibly, and disbelief cracked through his gaze. "You want me to invite Emma over?" I picked up my suitcase, leaving his harsh words behind me. "Diana, don't regret this. See?" He understood perfectly well. Chapter 6. After that day, Sam suddenly became very fond of posting on his moments. For example, on a weekday afternoon at work, a slice of cake from who knows where, in the bottom right corner of a group photo from a colleague's dinner, an unfamiliar girl's hand, at 2:30 in the morning, a glass of whiskey on the bar counter, after finishing a mission, his arm wrapped in bandages. Like a clumsy actor, he kept testing what place he still held in my heart. But I had no time to check up on him, and I didn't even have time to comment. I was having a great time on the travel variety show, so much so that I almost didn't want to come back. Several young starlets kept calling me Sister Diana, sounding more affectionate than anyone. "These are the last-minute guests you brought in?" Arms crossed, I stood behind Lisa and spoke lazily. There weren't this many people in the original script. At that, Lisa raised an eyebrow. "What? Did they annoy you?" "Not really." I leaned back in my chair, gazing at the pink-purple evening clouds. Stretching contentedly, my partner took on all the work. All I have to do is sit back and enjoy a free ride. That partner was a younger guy, a retired national swimmer, now working as a model. I usually called him Eric. As for his full name, I forgot. Whenever I thought of him swimming in the pool downstairs at my villa early in the morning, showing off his abs half-intentionally, I couldn't help but laugh. "Isn't that nice?" Lisa lifted her head and asked me. By seniority, I was a well-known host at the provincial station, surrounded by people calling me Big Sis while we worked. The industry was like this, pure business and equivalent exchange. Anyone with resources would have people trying to cozy up to them, hoping to be remembered when those resources got used. It is nice. Why wouldn't it be? I pretended to struggle with it, but he's not really my type. Can your show invite Ryan instead? Ow, that hurts. Lisa flicked my forehead so hard it really hurt, then reached out and started tickling me. Now you're being picky? Ha. Ryan. Huh? Why don't I just go ahead and invite Leo while I'm at it? Could you? No. Wait. Ah. That tickles. Lisa. Stop. Ha ha ha. Ugh. The emotions I'd been bottling up inside for so long finally burst out. I only remembered clinging to her and sobbing my heart out, crying until my voice went hoarse. Lisa held me in her arms and gently patted my back. Bringing you here was definitely the right call. Okay. Don't cry. Help. I'm an earth sign. I'm terrible at comforting people. I should have brought Roxana and Luna along too. Ugh. Forget it. Just cry. Let it all out. It's good for preventing breast nodules. I burst out laughing through my tears. Unfortunately, I was only a guest for a few episodes. After a week, no matter how reluctant I was, I still had to leave. In a blind spot of the cameras, my partner handed me a folded note, his ears reddening. On it was his private number. I found it amusing and folded the paper again. Sadly, I'd bought too many local specialties. Once I had too much stuff, I forgot where I'd put it. Chapter 7. The variety show aired on my birthday. I didn't know whether Lisa had coordinated with the editors beforehand. Since I was a special guest, our group's screen time was longer than the others. Once the show aired, quite a few viewers started shipping me and my partner. Gentle intellectual big sister vs goofy poppy younger bro. I'd sign in blood to see them paired again. 2 people. Make that 3. Eric's abs. Slurp slurp. There are no abs in Sis's eyes. Only her determination to win. Eric's showing off like a peacock and somehow everyone ignores him at the same time. This is hilarious, ha 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 ha. Reminder, there's a ring on her ring finger. What? My ship just set sail and it already sank? The 3 of my girlfriends sat around the TV at home, laughing like crazy. While Sam did not attend my birthday party, he only called to say something had suddenly come up and he couldn't make it back. When I suddenly received his call, I froze for a second. After thinking for a long while, I finally remembered our old agreement. No matter how badly we fought, we would always spend anniversaries and birthdays together. I calmly said, okay, and was about to hang up when I heard Emma's bright, lively voice. Senior, your Cold War with her still isn't over? Hearing that they were talking about me, I didn't press the hang-up button. Sam didn't answer her question. I heard the rustling of clothes as he stood up. Didn't you say you wanted me to pretend to be your boyfriend at the class reunion? Just this once, don't make a habit of it. Emma giggled, dragging out her words. Got it. When you go home, don't forget to coax Diana properly. Sam scolded her for being disrespectful, then paused and added, you should call her sister-in-law. I hung up the phone, took the steak out of the oven, and greeted my friends with a bright smile. Come on, try my cooking. We lit the candles, and Lisa was the first to raise her glass. Come on, let's wish our birthday girl a wonderful future in everything. May you make a fortune. May the people chasing after you line up all the way to France. I rolled my eyes and scolded playfully, that doesn't count. It's already true. You might as well wish me an early promotion to #1 host at the station. Hey, you woman. Fine. I wish you an early promotion to our station's #1 host. Humph. Behold my cream attack. Everyone fooled around and played games, silently agreeing not to bring up Sam. Chapter 8. By the time the party ended, it was almost midnight. After seeing them off, I sat on the sofa, so exhausted I didn't even want to lift my hand. The living room was a mess. Sticky sauce clung to the leftover steak, and the butter on the plate had cooled into a translucent white. Staring at the engagement ring on my hand for a long time, I finally took it off. My slender ring finger was left with a faint indentation where the ring had been. I casually tossed the ring into my purse. Struggling to stand up from the sofa, I began cleaning the room. The remaining steak went into the trash. Plates clinked crisply as they bumped against each other. After finishing the cleaning, I turned off the living room lights and went to the bathroom to shower. Warm rose-scented water soaked my hair. The bathroom speaker was playing a Korean drama OST, and whenever it reached a part one liked, I would hum along. It wasn't that I was pretending to be calm. It was simply that without Sam at the party, I was happier than I expected. even when I returned to the bedroom with my damp hair and collided with a pair of bloodshot eyes. I was merely surprised, nothing more. Didn't you have something to take care of? I thought you wouldn't come back tonight. I sat at the vanity to dry my hair. After that, I began my skincare routine. After turning 27, I became particularly serious about maintenance, spending at least an hour on it each day. My skin condition determined how I looked on camera. Skincare was part of my job. A subtle tension spread between us. After our hysterical fight and the Cold War, on my birthday of all days, perhaps influenced by our old agreement, we finally managed to stay peacefully in the same room, even if only temporarily. Sam's gaze remained fixed on my back. After who knows how long, he finally spoke softly. Diana, why aren't you asking me? I checked the condition of my hair, satisfied, closed the cap of my hair oil, lifted the corner of the blanket, and lay down. Asking about what? Sam rolled over and pinned me beneath him, igniting sparks over my body with practiced ease. Tonight, he was especially ardent. To be fair, he was a competent lover. When he heard me moan softly, his movements grew increasingly erratic. He kissed my neck, his voice slightly hoarse. Who I was with tonight, what I did, why I didn't make it back to celebrate your birthday. Why aren't you asking me these things? The intimate atmosphere instantly turned cold. Even though he was the one pleasing me, I suddenly lost all interest. Sam was always meticulous. If he hadn't done it on purpose, I would never have overheard his whole pretending to be someone's boyfriend at the class reunion conversation. But I couldn't give him the hysterical reaction he wanted. I could only respond coolly. Don't you always do this whenever you're sent on a last-minute task? I'm used to it. You don't need to report to me in the future. Asking or not asking would not change the outcome. So what was the point? I pushed away the stunned Sam, pulled up my fallen shoulder strap, and said, that's enough for tonight. I have morning news to broadcast tomorrow. And how many times do I need to say this? Don't leave hickey marks on my neck. It looks bad on camera. Chapter 9. Maybe it was my attitude that hurt him. Sam's eyes were bloodshot. His vulnerability laid bare in that moment, completely different from his usual calm. He held me tightly in his arms, his tone filled with obvious pleading. Diana, can we stop the Cold War? I really can't take it anymore. If this keeps going, I'll lose my mind. He even broke the solemn promise he once made. You don't like Emma. Then from now on I'll stay far, far away from her. Okay? I remained silent. Seeing me say nothing, he opened his mouth again, panicking more and more as he tried to explain. Was it because I got angry and told you to get out of the car? I admit I have a bad temper. Later I bought a lipstick and left it in the car, thinking whether it made you happy or made you furiously question me, at least you'd talk to me. But you didn't react at all. I didn't know what to do. His tears fell onto my shoulder, and his voice took on a trembling sob. I really don't know what else to do. Diana, please talk to me. Don't smile at other men like that. Okay. That man was blatantly flirting with you. I wanted to tear him apart. Didn't the production team tell him in advance that he was supposed to? Where is your ring? He grabbed my hand, his face twisting in panic, breathing suddenly heavy. Your ring. Where is it? Where did it go? Sam used to joke that at our wedding, I should exchange my engagement ring for his diamond ring. It's not lost. I just don't want to wear it anymore. I turned around to face him, my gaze clear. Sam, you still don't understand. My dislike of Emma and you keeping your distance from her has never been a matter of cause and effect. You don't need to use my name as an excuse to cut ties with your little sister. That only makes me look bad. And besides, I never use orange-brown lipsticks. That shade must have been recommended by Emma, right? Just like pretending to be her boyfriend at the class reunion, that was her idea too? What were you trying to do? Make me jealous? Watch me worry about you? Or explode in anger? Seeing his pupils shrink abruptly, I sighed in my heart. Guessed right. Too bad there's no reward. I propped myself up and took the medical record from the bedside drawer. Sam froze. After reading the first few words, his expression slowly went blank. This is, what? A medical record. I let out a soft laugh. That night you spent keeping Emma company. I had a miscarriage. I was alone at the hospital. signing the consent forms for surgery myself. His hand holding the document trembled uncontrollably. Diana. I'm sorry. I didn't know. Of course you didn't know. I watched his collapse with clinical calm while I was signing alone. My dear fiancé was downstairs with another woman. Your phone was unreachable. When I went to get my medication alone, my fiancé and that woman walked out of the elevator laughing and chatting. You were so busy interacting with her you didn't even ask why I called you. Sam. I said his name, aiming the blade that once ripped me apart back at him, enunciating each word. You will never know how much it hurt in that operating room, just like how you're falling apart now. I feel nothing. When you have time, let's divide our shared assets. We're breaking off the engagement. I mean it. Maybe I should thank Emma. That phone call today confirmed what I'd suspected all along. I no longer loved Sam. Chapter 10. After that night, Sam began avoiding the topic of breaking off the engagement. According to him, I was still angry and hadn't forgiven him yet. He always believed I would forgive him. He started trying all kinds of ways to make it up to me. But the moment I thought about it, I realized just how much we had missed along the way. I refused all his invitations, VIP access to the Ferris wheel, the re-release of an old movie, concert seats closest to the idol. My reason was simple. All of these only reminded me of how humiliated I used to be. He abandoned me again and again. Why should I wait for him in the same place? In the end, news of breaking off the engagement reached both families. When they learned I had undergone a miscarriage surgery alone, Sam was punished by family discipline. He staggered home afterward, and when he saw me merely glance at him before continuing my call with a smile, his face turned even paler. His father even went to find Emma's father during work hours and said that if Emma couldn't keep her boundaries straight and caused this marriage to fall apart, the two families would become enemies, old friends for years, and he didn't give the other side even a shred of face. And frankly, it wasn't surprising. Our engagement banquet had been grand, attended by many influential people. If the marriage really failed, Sam's father would have nowhere to put his face. Just after finishing a live stream that day, I saw Emma waiting at the makeup room door, eyes red. Sis. She showed her police badge. We couldn't stop her. The makeup artist whispered beside me. Emma looked terrible. Foundation couldn't hide how awful she looked. I opened the makeup room door and gestured for her to come in. Before I could close the door, Luna squeezed through the gap and gave me a knowing look. So you're proud of yourself, huh? Emma had clearly cried, and through gritted teeth she confronted me. Yes, I like Senior, but I never wanted to break you two up. What gives you the right to say those things about me in front of him? Now he's ignoring me. He even deleted me. Are you satisfied? The makeup room wasn't soundproof. With her shouting like that, everyone outside would know what happened. I found a stool and sat down, smiling with a hint of carelessness. You really never thought of breaking us up? Yet we broke up thanks to you. A flicker of guilt flashed across her eyes. Holding a respected job, yet using work countless times as an excuse to satisfy your own desires, with absolutely no sense of boundaries. Emma, let me tell you, even if you two never slept together, your behavior is no different from that of a homewrecker. Exactly. Gentle Luna was anything but gentle with her words. Arms crossed, she added, Sweetheart, people like you? We usually call you mannish pretentious coquette. I reached for my phone. I'm calling security. Emma's face flushed instantly. No need. I'll leave myself. Watching her flee in embarrassment, I suddenly remembered the past. The Diana who held 2 movie tickets, stomping her frozen feet outside a cinema while still glancing at the intersection. The Diana who happily went to ride the Ferris wheel with her boyfriend, only to end up crying alone inside. All of it was in the past now. Luna patted my shoulder in comfort. Security told her she can't go in. She actually flashed her police badge. How did she even get that job? And you were nice enough to save her dignity by confronting her in the makeup room. Look at whether she even appreciates it. I only reapplied my lipstick in the mirror. If things get too big, it'll affect work. Luna was furious on my behalf and kept lecturing. I'm telling you, being soft-hearted toward your enemy is cruelty toward yourself. Think about everything you suffered. I nodded and smiled. I know. What I meant was, if things blow up, it will affect their work. This matter clearly put me in the right. In the system, rumors spread fast. Relationships are intricate. And on this path, lacking ability is secondary. Once your morality shows cracks, no one dares to use you. With how developed the internet is now, it was only a matter of time before the situation exploded. Chapter 11. A video from 2 months ago suddenly went viral. In the video, Sam was carrying Emma out of the residential building, looking for a stretcher, shouting at the media to move aside. The netizens who had been shipping them earlier were mercilessly mocked, and their beloved CP became a stain on their record. 2+1 AA power couple? Can't ship this at all. Goodbye. I was at the crime scene. If that woman hadn't tried to show off and acted on her own, the kidnappers wouldn't have escaped. One is still at large. I can't imagine how terrified the victim of the home invasion must have been. And 2+1 at the TV station causing drama, no time to catch criminals? The guy isn't any better. He probably thinks it's thrilling having 2 women fighting over him. Agree with the above. People like this always pretend to be clueless. My ex had a pretentious coquette girl clinging to him online, and he called her a bro when I deleted her. He panicked. As long as it doesn't affect their personal benefit, they act stupid forever. Disgusting. Scumbags exist in every industry. Don't let someone's job give you a filter. As the situation escalated, the credibility of the city bureau was affected. Someone dug up that Emma had pulled strings to get her job, and that her father was a city leader. Negative rumors flooded everywhere. Unable to withstand the pressure, and out of guilt, Emma resigned on her own. Someone photographed her entering the hospital's psychiatric department, leaving with a pile of psychiatric medications. People who grow up getting everything they want fall much harder than ordinary people. I didn't pity her. I simply put away my phone and said lightly, "Karma." Sam returned to the bureau to work before fully recovering. The entire city's attention was focused on the kidnapping case. The kidnapper was still at large, and his pressure was unprecedented. One day when I returned home, the moment I stepped into the alley, I sensed something was wrong. Someone was following me. Hell, MMPH. The man behind me suddenly strangled my neck. I fought with all my strength, kicking and struggling, but I couldn't overpower the cloth covering my nose and mouth. No. I'm going to suffocate. Right before losing consciousness, I saw Sam sprinting toward me like a madman. Diana! His scream tore through the night. Chapter 12. When I woke up, I found myself lying in a hospital. My mom was wiping my face, using the same strength as when I was little. All these years, I've always wanted to ask her whether she was wiping my face or kneading dough. Mom. I opened my mouth, my voice hoarse. Diana. My mom's hand froze, and her tears fell just like that. The doctor came to examine me and said my coma was caused by suffocation. As long as I cooperated with a few tests after waking up and received some 4 fluids, I'd be discharged soon. I looked around the room and felt a sense of dread. Where's Sam? My parents exchanged glances and hesitated. Sam is still in the ICU. The home invasion robbery case that had dragged on for more than 2 months was finally solved. Setting aside the matter with Emma, in terms of criminal investigation, Sam was indeed extremely capable. The robber had escaped capture several times in a row. Driven into a corner by Sam, he hid in the sewers and survived by petty theft. Even before joining forces with another criminal to commit home invasion and rape, he already had a murder on his record. Back then, he had used the other guy as a scapegoat to escape. He knew if he was caught now, he'd be serving a very long sentence. At that moment, he spotted me walking home from work alone. He wanted to pull the same trick again, take a gamble, grab some money, and run far, far away. He never expected Sam, who had also been working late, to see him. During the fight, Sam arrested the kidnapper, but was stabbed twice in the chest. His colleagues rushed over and called emergency services. It was said that as they pushed him into the operating room, he still forced himself to stay conscious and muttered, "So, that's how much it hurt back then." His colleagues shouted at him not to fall asleep, or he'd never wake up again. His last words were, If I don't make it out, help me tell Diana." No one knew what he had wanted to say. The surgery lasted an entire day and night. The lead surgeon said Sam was very likely to end up in a vegetative state. Diana, with things like this now, do you still want to break off the engagement? My mom asked me cautiously. She felt sorry for me and worried I'd be pressured by morality into taking Sam back. I stayed silent for a very, very long time before finally saying, "I'll wait for him to wake up, then decide." Chapter 13. After being discharged, I went to take care of Sam. It wasn't because of moral pressure or anything like that. He saved my life, so it was only natural that I take care of him. Sam's parents hoped I would talk to him, but when I looked at Sam, covered in tubes, I opened my mouth and didn't know what to say. In their desperation, the elderly couple even listened to the old woman's nonsense and knelt down to beg me, wanting to hold the wedding early as a way to bring good luck and ward off misfortune. They were scolded right back by my parents. My mom slammed my medical report on the table in front of them. "That's enough. I feel sorry for my own daughter. Want 2 children to get married regardless of her wishes? No way." There was fierce arguing outside the door. Inside, I wiped Sam's face clean and spoke to him here and there. Or maybe I was just talking to myself. "Today is the 50th day of your coma. The doctors say you're out of immediate danger. You've lost a lot of weight." Sam. There were faint dark circles under his eyes, and the soft flesh on his cheeks had disappeared. The cold smell of disinfectant drilled into my nostrils. I sat beside his pillow, staring at the face I had once loved and hated. Now, all that was left was paleness and stillness. "It's noisy out there, isn't it? Not surprising, because you're still in a coma. Both your parents' hair has gone half white. They used to be strict materialists and now they're clinging to all sorts of superstitions. But as their child, I can't bring myself to blame them, so I come hide out in here with you. But let me be clear, I don't agree to that lucky wedding to ward off bad luck." Sam didn't respond. I was silent for a very long time, long enough that the noise outside eventually faded. Then I heard my own voice echoing in the empty hospital room. "Not only that, I still want to break off the engagement. Do you think I'm cruel? You did save my life, after all." Saying this now really makes me sound like a monster. Sam lay there quietly, the beeping of the heart monitor the only proof he was still alive. That steady line was like a road with no end, yet also like the sword of Damocles, and no one knew when it would fall. But Sam, I've tried to convince myself. I tried to convince myself to agree to that lucky wedding, to convince myself to stay and accompany you for the rest of your life. But I'm really scared. I'm scared you'll never wake up again. I'm even more scared that I'll turn into someone ungrateful and vicious, afraid that as the years pass, I'll stare at your face and resent you for saving me, for trapping me in a prison woven from gratitude, a prison I can never escape. I can't forget the pain I went through. But now, even hatred has become a luxury. I couldn't love him, and I couldn't keep hating him either. Sam. I'd rather be the one lying here. Fine threads tightened around my heart, winding tighter and tighter until I could barely breathe. After a long time, I wiped the tears from my cheeks and forced a smile. "I don't know what's going on lately, but I keep dreaming about you. I've already decided, and I mean if you never wake up, I'll take care of your parents for you. I'll treat it as paying back the life I owe you." I sniffed, my eyes burning. "I don't blame you anymore, Sam. The new year is almost here. Wake up soon. I'm begging you." At that moment, the monitor emitted a sharp sound. "Okay." His eyes were still closed, but a tear slid from the corner of his eye. His voice was low and hoarse. "We'll break off the engagement." Chapter 14. Sam ultimately injured his body to the point that he could no longer handle intense work, so he was transferred to a relatively light-duty administrative position. For someone who had dreamed of becoming a criminal investigator since childhood, it was a world-shattering blow. Not to mention, because the wounds were near his heart, he would suffer on rainy days for the rest of his life. After we broke off the engagement, the house went to me, and the car went to him. On the day we signed the agreement, we sat in silence. His eyes were red as he looked at me, as if wanting to carve me into his memory. "What are your plans after this?" I showed him the official document on my phone. "I'm going to country Y to study." The Y Broadcasting Corporation was the largest news organization in the world. My previous director retired due to health issues, and after evaluating the situation, the station decided to send me for advanced training. When I returned, I would be promoted to Chief Director of Broadcasting. When he handed the signed agreement back to me, his hands shook so much he closed the pen cap several times before getting it right. I took a sip of coffee and gazed at the gloomy sky outside. The roads are slippery when it rains. Be careful on your way back. That is how adults say goodbye. Dignified, gentle, yet absolute. Later on, as my career grew, I went through many boyfriends, none over 25. Some were sincere, some pretended to be, some wanted to use me to gain more resources, while others fell for me and wished to marry. I always answered with a casual smile and then gave them a generous breakup fee, because I discovered that a fresh relationship was far better than a stable marriage. I bought properties all around the world. I collected awards until my hands grew tired. Fame and fortune both came easily. I was known in the media as the Queen of News. My parents sometimes fretted over my marital status. Whenever that happened, I sent them on trips around the world. After traveling and seeing so much, they were no longer bound by traditional ideas. As long as I was happy, that was enough. On Valentine's Day, it snowed in F City, a rare sight. My new boyfriend excitedly invited me to the amusement park, then mysteriously slipped away halfway through. While waiting for him in the central plaza, my attention was caught by a man in an overcoat. He was tall and slender, his jawline sharp, his features as handsome as ever. When he saw me, he froze for a second, then greeted me. Long time no see, long time no see. My new boyfriend came running over with 2 Ferris wheel tickets in hand. Seeing me speaking with Sam, he didn't dare come forward and interrupt. Sam glanced at the tickets in his hand. A trace of dimness passed through his eyes. He pulled out a faint smile. Then I'll go first. He turned and walked away. Though he was still in the prime of his life, his steps were unsteady. An inappropriate thought surfaced in my mind. Some people revisit old places only to carve marks on a boat, searching for what can never be retrieved. His figure disappeared into the falling snow. Beside me, my new boyfriend joked and urged me to ride the Ferris wheel with him. I could see his intentions. I shook my head and said with a smile, "You go by yourself. I'm afraid of heights. I'll wait for you down here." There was a well-known legend in the amusement park, or rather, a marketing tactic to boost ticket sales. They said that on Valentine's Day, if a couple kissed at the highest point of the Ferris wheel, their love would last forever. 10 years ago, I had already ridden a Ferris wheel alone. From now on, I would never ride it again.